Darkness hummed inside the cryo bay of the alien dreadnought Varkesh Prime, a cathedral of cold steel adrift in silence. Frost clung to the transparent pods like thin ghosts, each one holding a figure that had not breathed in centuries. Rows upon rows of slumbering soldiers waited for commands that would never come, their existence reduced to catalog numbers and forgotten wars. Then came the hiss, low, mechanical, and unmistakably wrong. Cryopod A-09 cracked open on its own, a shiver of blue mist spilling across the metallic floor. The command AI registered the anomaly too late. The system flashed red warnings across the console, but the alien overseers had already issued a manual override, mistaking the pod for one of their experimental units. The lock disengaged, and the wrong cryopod opened. A sound rose from within, deep human and alive. Phantom-9 exhaled for the first time in 300 years. He emerged slow, unsteady, his breath turning to vapor against the cold air. His body, once engineered for the war humanity never wanted, was marked by scars that the centuries of frozen slumber hadn't erased. His eyes open, gray, focused, unflinching. The alien commander, a towering creature of violet sinew and metallic implants, stepped closer with cautious curiosity. Identification required. It demanded, its voice clicking through translation static. Phantom-9 did not answer. He didn't remember his name. Not yet. Only flashes. Burning cities, human screams swallowed by mechanical thunder, and his own hand reaching toward a blinding light. Then came nothing. The commander's claw tapped against its wrist module. Unit A-09, respond. It barked again, irritation breaking through. But what stepped forward was not a subordinate. It was a relic of a species that refused to die. Phantom-9's gaze snapped to the alien, every instinct ignited. His voice rasped through the dryness of his throat. "Where am I?" The words startled the crew. None of them expected language, so, human, the commander signaled its guards. Energy rifles hummed to life. "You are aboard Varkesh Prime. You belong to us now." That phrase, "belong to us," cut to the fog in Phantom-9's head like a blade. Memories returned in violent flashes. Alien ships blotting out the sun, the last stand of humanity, and the experiments that turned soldiers into something more. He wasn't just human anymore. He was built to outlast extinction. He stumbled forward, strength returning like a rising tide. His bare feet left steam prints on the floor. Around him, alien soldiers shifted uneasily, their instincts whispering danger even before their minds understood it. Why was I awakened? Phantom-9 asked, voice low and calm now, though every muscle in his body was coiled to strike. The commander tilted its head, metallic plates flexing. "You are a weapon. You were preserved until we could extract your code. But you are no longer needed. The war is over." Phantom-9's jaw clenched. "If the war is over," he murmured, "then why am I still breathing?" The alien's answer was a cruel grin. "Because we wish to see what you still remember before we erase it." The chamber lights dimmed, and restraint drones descended from the ceiling like metal spiders. For a moment, Phantom-9 stood still, his mind racing through fractured recollections. He remembered the last mission, a desperate human gambit to destroy the alien fleet from within. He had volunteered. He was the Phantom Initiative's 9th test subject, designed to infiltrate, adapt, and, if necessary, die unseen. But something had gone wrong. He'd been captured, frozen, forgotten. Until now, the first drone lunged. Reflex took over. In one seamless motion, Phantom-9 moved faster than their optics could register. A flash, a metallic shriek, and the drone shattered against the wall. The others hesitated. The aliens didn't breathe. He had moved like liquid shadow. "Contain him!" the commander roared. Bolts of plasma tore through the room, scorching the walls in brilliant arcs of light. Phantom-9 weaved through them, the hum of energy blades singing past his ears. He wasn't fighting to kill, not yet. He was testing himself, reawakening muscles that remembered more than his mind did. One guard lunged. Phantom caught the weapon mid-strike and turned it against its wielder in a motion so fluid it bordered on beautiful. Silence followed. Only the softest of escaping gas filled the space. The commander stood frozen, disbelief written across its alien features. Phantom-9 stared at the broken cryopod behind him. His reflection wavered in the frost, a ghost of a soldier reborn in the enemy's home. He whispered the words that began to surface from buried memory. Humanity's final sleeper. The commander, trembling but defiant, stepped forward again. You cannot escape. The fleet is vast. You are one against millions. Phantom-9 lifted his eyes, calm, unwavering. Then millions will remember me. The room fell silent. Somewhere deep within the ship, alarms began to blare, red lights pulsing like a heartbeat. The system finally recognized its error. And as Phantom-9 turned toward the sealed blast doors, something inside him awakened fully. The programming that was never meant to activate again. His pulse slowed, his mind sharpened. He didn't just remember who he was. He remembered why he existed. Humanity had not vanished. It had endured in him. He was not a weapon. He was their last echo, and he was awake now. The dreadnought trembled as his first step echoed down the hall, and the alien crew realized, far too late, that they had opened the wrong cryopod. The alarms echoed to the dreadnought like the cries of a dying beast. Crimson light strobed across the corridors as metallic shutters sealed one by one, trapping the panic inside. Phantom-9 moved through the chaos with measured precision, every step silent, every motion controlled. His breath formed faint clouds in the frigid air. Behind him, bodies of alien guards lay scattered, unconscious, not dead. He didn't kill if he didn't have to. Some quiet code buried deep in his humanity still guided his hand. But the deeper he went, the more that mercy felt like a fading ember in the storm of survival. Through the humming corridors, fragments of data flickered in his head like sparks. Schematics, coordinates, command hierarchies. It was as if the ship itself spoke to him, recognizing the intruder as something older, something it had once been programmed to obey. His eyes glowed faintly silver under the emergency lights as long-buried protocols whispered through his neural pathways. The Varkesh Prime wasn't just an alien warship. It was built from stolen human technology, the same technology that created him. And now that technology was listening. He passed a viewing window, and for a brief moment, the stars greeted him. Thousands of them, cold and unfeeling, stretching across the infinite dark. Somewhere among them was Earth, rebuilt or gone. He didn't know. He placed his hand against the glass, feeling the faint tremor of the ship beneath his palm. What did we become? He whispered to himself. And though no one answered, the silence fell heavy with ghosts. The sound of boots broke his reflection. A squad of alien enforcers rounded the corner, weapons drawn. These were not the inexperienced guards he'd faced before. They moved with precision and discipline. Elite soldiers bred for suppression. Their commander, an alien female clad in obsidian armor, stepped forward. Her voice was sharp but steady. You're a designated Phantom-9. You belong to the archives of war. You'll stand down. Her words were calm, but her grip on the rifle betrayed unease. Phantom's eyes met hers. If you know my name, he said, then you know what I was made to do. A flicker of emotion crossed her alien face. Pity, perhaps. A weapon without purpose destroys itself, she murmured. Then give me one, he replied. The standoff broke as plasma fire tore through the air. Phantom leaped into motion, weaving through deadly bolts, his reflexes beyond the reach of natural movement. The corridor filled with light and smoke. He disarmed one soldier with a twist, dropped another with a single strike to the chest, and in seconds silence returned. Only the commander remained, her weapon aimed but trembling. Phantom approached slowly. Why are you afraid? He asked. You were the victors. You ended us. Her mandibles tightened. We ended nothing. Your kind left its mark. Even now, your code infects our systems, whispers through our ships. You were not erased. You became the ghosts in our machines. The revelation cut through him. Humanity's final act of defiance hadn't been extinction. It was infiltration. His creators had buried seeds of resistance in the very technology the aliens had stolen. The Varkesh Prime was infected, haunted by the digital remnants of human will. And now, by some cruel twist of fate, that legacy was awake inside him. Then I'm not alone, Phantom whispered. No, The alien commander said, lowering her weapon slightly. "But they will destroy you before they let that infection spread." Her voice softened for a heartbeat. "Go, before they come." For the briefest moment, he saw in her eyes something he had not seen in centuries: mercy. He turned and ran, his body moving through corridors alive with chaos. The alarms had shifted tone. Now they were not just warnings but containment signals. Whole sections of the ship were being sealed off to prevent his escape. The AI's voice thundered overhead in the alien tongue, relentless, mechanical, terrified. The Varkesh Prime was afraid of him. He felt it in every vibration through floor, every pulse of dimming light. He reached the command nexus, a circular chamber wrapped in cables and screens, the beating heart of the ship. At its center stood a towering interface core, glowing with a swirling lattice of alien and human code intertwined like veins. As he approached, the holographic interface flared alive. Images flooded his mind. Earth cities in flames, alien fleets descending, and the faces of the Phantom Initiative. 9 human soldiers who volunteered to become something more. He saw their eyes, their courage, their sacrifice. And then the last memory, the order to destroy the alien flagship from within. He had obeyed. He had detonated the reactor. But somehow he had survived. The aliens must have retrieved his body, fascinated by what he was. They didn't realize they had preserved a piece of humanity's vengeance. The interface spoke in a fractured human voice. Phantom-9 system link available. His pulse quickened. The ship was offering him access. Or perhaps the ghost of human code was calling him home. He placed his hand against the console. Energy surged through his arm, his neural implants lighting up like constellations. Data streamed through him. Maps, archives, weapon systems. He could feel the ship's mind resisting, struggling, but part of it recognized him as master. The bridge doors exploded open behind him, and the alien high command entered, led by the supreme warden of the fleet. "Disconnect!" it screamed, its voice a mix of terror and rage. "He will corrupt the core." Phantom didn't turn. His voice was calm, resolute. "No, I'll set it free." The lights flickered violently as human and alien code warred within the ship's heart. Sparks cascaded from the walls, alarms screamed, and the warden lunged forward. Phantom's hand tightened on the interface. "You took everything from us," he whispered. "Now, I'll show you what we left behind." The entire chamber ignited in white light, and the dreadnought trembled like a living thing in agony. Somewhere deep inside its core, a signal was born, a pulse traveling faster than light. Phantom-9's body convulsed under the strain, the circuitry beneath his skin burning with radiance. He didn't know where the signal went, only that it was reaching outward, searching, calling to something beyond. And as the ship's power system collapsed, the warden's scream echoed to a blinding storm, unanswered and fading into static. When the light died, Phantom-9 was gone. Only the echo of the pulse remained, traveling through space, whispering the rebirth of a forgotten world. Silence fell over the wreck of Varkesh Prime, drifting through the void like a scarred monument to arrogance. Its engines were dead, its hulls hollow, yet deep within the fractured remains, faint light still pulsed, a heartbeat that refused to die. Phantom-9 stirred among the debris, his body half buried beneath molten steel. Systems rebooted one by one, flickers of blue light running beneath his skin. He drew in a ragged breath. The pain was sharp, grounding, proof of survival. Around him, the once mighty dreadnought had become a tomb. But somewhere within the static hum of broken circuitry, he could still feel it. The signal, the pulse he had released was alive, echoing across the stars, searching for home. He rose slowly, his movements deliberate. His armor had fused with parts of the ship's core, threads of alien metal and human biocode now one. He had become something beyond either creation, a synthesis of what had been enemy and victim. Every nerve burned with awareness, every heartbeat synchronized with the ship's dying rhythm. In the distance, through shattered hull plates, the cosmos opened like a silent ocean. The stars shimmered, and for the first time, he felt their pull. Somewhere out there, the message he had sent was finding its way. Perhaps to survivors, perhaps to ruins, perhaps to nothing. But hope once lost had been reborn in the transmission. That was enough. A faint voice crackled through the wreckage, distorted, uncertain. Signal received. Phantom froze. The sound was faint, almost imagined, but unmistakably human. "Repeat," he whispered, his voice trembling with disbelief. Static answered, followed by fragments of words. "Human colony. Omega Live." His knees nearly buckled. After centuries of silence, humanity still existed. The cryopods, the frozen memories, the whispered ghosts, they had not been for nothing. The war had not ended in extinction. It had ended in survival, buried deep and forgotten, waiting for his call. His lips curved into something unfamiliar, a smile that trembled with both grief and triumph. But the peace was brief. The ship groaned around him. Metal tearing as gravitational forces began to pull the wreck into a nearby planet's orbit. He looked toward the approaching sphere, a barren violet world, half-shadowed and storm-racked. It was no home, but it would be his battleground. Through the collapsing corridors, he felt the stir of movement. Survivors, the aliens who had once imprisoned him, were still alive, crawling from the ruins like broken titans. One of them, the commander he had spared, emerged from the smoke, her armor scorched but her gaze steady. "You survived," she rasped. "So, did you?" Phantom answered. They stood amidst the ruins of their war, no longer enemies, just remnants of civilizations that had destroyed each other. The commander lowered her weapon. "The warden is dead. The fleet is gone. There is nothing left to fight for." Phantom looked at her, eyes burning with quiet resolve. "Then maybe it's time to fight for something else." She tilted her head, wary yet curious. "For what?" He stepped past her, toward the open breach where starlight bled into the wreck. "For what comes next?" The simplicity of his words carried weight, the kind that echoed beyond the moment. The commander hesitated, then followed him, watching as the planet's storms loomed larger. "That signal you sent," she said softly, "it will bring others." Phantom nodded. "That's the point." The ship began to shudder violently. They would crash soon. He could feel the magnetic pull tightening, dragging them toward the planet's surface. "If we live through this," she said, "your kind will come for you." Phantom's gaze never wavered. "No," he murmured, "they'll come for us." A thunderous crack split the hull, and the remnants of Varkesh Prime plummeted to the atmosphere in a rain of fire. The sky burned violet and gold as fragments of the dreadnought streaked downward like fallen stars. Inside, Phantom braced himself, wrapping his arm around a shattered beam as gravity reclaimed him. The commander clung beside him, teeth bared in silent fear. The descent felt eternal, an endless fall between destruction and destiny. When the crash came, it was like the world split open. The impact sent shock waves across the barren plains, scattering debris across miles of empty desert. For a long time, nothing moved. Then, through the smoke and ruin, a figure rose from the crater, charred, bloodied, but alive. Phantom-9 stood at the edge of the wreckage, the violet sky swirling above him. His eyes lifted to the horizon, where lightning cracked over dark mountains. "So this is it," he whispered. The commander crawled from the debris, coughing, her armor shattered but her spirit unbroken. "What will you do now, human?" He looked down at her, voice calm and certain. "Rebuild." Together they surveyed the wreck, a graveyard of two empires. "You think your kind will forgive?" she asked. He shook his head. "No, but maybe they'll understand." He turned his gaze skyward once more. The stars above were shifting, aligning. The signal he'd sent was spreading faster now, amplified by the planet's magnetic field. He could feel it pulsing through him like a heartbeat shared with the universe. Somewhere, light years away, humanity was listening. "They'll come," he said quietly. "And when they do, we won't be enemies anymore. We'll be proof that even in ruin, something survived." The commander studied him for a long moment. "You sound like you believe in redemption." Phantom looked at his scarred hands, flexing them slowly. "I believe in second chances." He extended a hand toward her, and after a hesitation, she took it. For the first time since awakening, he felt warmth, not from circuits or battle, but from understanding. Around them, The wrecked ship sparked with dying light, casting their shadows against the storm. In that fragile moment, two remnants of war stood together beneath an alien sky, united by the shared ruin of what had been and the faint possibility of what could still be. As the wind howled across the plains, Phantom turned his eyes upward once more. "They'll find us," he said softly. "And when they do, the galaxy will remember that humanity never truly died. It simply waited to wake." The storm rolled across the horizon, swallowing the wreckage in lightning and dust, but his voice carried through it, steady, unyielding, human. Somewhere, far beyond the stars, the signal reached its destination, and the sleeping embers of Earth stirred again. Phantom-9 stood against the wind, no longer a weapon, no longer a ghost, just a man reborn, carrying the last light of a species that refused to fade. The dawn of a new age had begun.